Seconds. What is up, guys, and welcome to ASL Week 4 Power Rankings. I'm joined with Milan,
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
and I'm, of course, excellent at names, so let's just jump right into the picks. You put yourself down at number 14, a little bit harsh, but let's see your reasoning for it.
Well, this is the second time I'm part of a forfeit, and I kind of like when you are part of a forfeit, you don't actually add anything to a game. Like, yes, I played both games. Something happens, really, something really unfortunate happens, but um, I just didn't want to put myself somewhere in the middle because it was actually really hard to rank everyone this week, and I figured just put myself at the last spot because I technically didn't deliver a game this week. Same for TCP, so he will be a bit lower as well. I'm sure he understands why, and that's why I put myself at the last spot. I felt that was fair to everyone else. And you have actually Ferret at number 14. Please explain.
Well, no real surprise there for anyone. I'm sure he's currently the only winless team at the moment. He has had a pretty difficult starting schedule, in fairness, but I'm sure that with his nice Storley team, if he can really come into it, then he should be able to pull something off. He has been bringing more offensive stuff, generally speaking, but this week he did bust out a Cosmic Power Claydol, which is incredibly lame to fight, but I think it's the right direction for his team. So I'm hoping that he can start to pull off more things like that and start to pick up some wins. But as it stands, he doesn't have any, so he's going to stay at the number 14 spot. But you have him at number 13.
Yeah, well, you can see him as the last spot as well because he is the winless team, and I voted myself. I basically took myself out of the rankings this week by putting myself at the last spot. He is indeed the only winless team, which is really unfortunate. I'm gonna keep on saying it. I really do like his team, and I think it does have potential. He just needs to find it for himself. He brought a pretty interesting Cladle set, to say the least. It was kind of funny, but it was more of a meme than an actual set. I feel like, and it didn't really work out for him, as it shows in the rankings. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep on saying good luck next week. I think you can do it. You have a very strong team to support you. And number 13, you have the Denver Nummers.
Yeah, I do have to master here. He's on a 3-game lose streak at the moment. His differential isn't even that bad. It's -5, but I feel like he's had some really bad, rough losses overall, and he just doesn't seem like he's putting his whole effort, whole heart into it, which is really disappointing because he had a really good showing week 1, but it's just completely gone now. That week 1 the master is just gone, which is definitely disappointing, like I said. So hopefully we can see him get back to form. But if he doesn't, then he's probably going to stay around this range and maybe even go lower. You've actually got him at number 12, which is basically number 13 for you anyway, so you can explain why.
Yeah, well, I'm not really feeling it from Blake anymore. It feels like he doesn't even care. I know his in real life situation has become a bit busier. He overall isn't enjoying months as much as he used to, but that's really unfortunate because I still think he has such a good team and such a good chance this year to make playoffs, and he's kind of throwing it, in my opinion. There was also again a war turtle that didn't do anything this week, so I don't know, man. Kurum did show up and picked up a kill like this week, so definitely should bring Kurum a lot more often. But just get rid of war turtle, man. No, don't bring it on you.
I
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man.
100% agree with that. Wartortle is so
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, it actually is. I'm low-key insulting the person you have at number 12. He does it like a little show to get shit talked. You have Jalmer, the Winters Weevils at number 12. Please explain to us why.
Well, obviously he was able to pick up a nice win this week over Shadow. So it's great to see that he's finally getting his season together, especially after such a tough starting schedule. But I feel like that one win isn't really enough to push him too far up in the rankings. He is minus 12 differential, which is tied worst with Ferret, so definitely not the best look, but a great win this week. He's definitely showing himself to be a competent coach, so hopefully we'll be able to see some good things for him in the future. I can definitely see a good playoffs run still come out of him thus far. We've seen it happen before. You did a similar run in season 2, I believe, right?
Yep, yep. Started 0-3 and then basically won out. But it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so maybe Jelma is capable of it. We'll have to see. For now, gonna keep you at 12, but we'll see if you rise. But at number 11,
Yeah.
we both have Susie. We're starting to agree more, which is a little bit scary. Honestly, not a fan of agreeing with you on anything, really. But you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
um,
I understand. My opinions are bad.
but Susie choked so ridiculously hard this week, and I don't like to say it. I know Susie was upset about it for sure, but it was probably the most comical choke I've seen in a while. So just gotta put you down here, man. Going into Tapu Koko to stop the yawn from working on the Jirachi was super funny to me. So yeah, that's kind of the main reason why I decided to place you down at the bottom here. There's so many teams that are 2-2 that are all practically tied that honestly the comedic value was a big reason why I decided to put you down here. I'm not even going to lie about that. But hopefully Milan's got some more concrete reasoning behind his decision making.
Well, like Ian said, and I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of records are tied, so it was really hard to rank everyone. But like I based it a little bit less of the ranking itself and the differential, but more about the game I watched and what a game did I watch. Boy, oh boy! Like I didn't even know it was possible to choke like that. Like I legit was watching the replay and it showed that Brett won the game. And then I watched the replay and I was like, how is Brett winning this game? Like Susie is up like 5-1. Like how did he lose? And then it all just happened. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm still confused about everything. But yeah, overall, I think you did well in the early game. The freeze on the Mega Ampharos did definitely helped you a lot. It made the lives of Empoleon and possibly Mega Pinsir Beware as well a lot more fortunate. Even the Dragalge, but yeah, like you should work on your end game. Let's keep it at that. Let's keep it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So moving on to number 10. I have the Wander's Weevil. Jelmer finally picking up his first win. I was really excited about it because, of course, Jelmer is my friend, and he was doing really bad this season. He made some new transactions and his new pickups, mainly the Thunderous Incarnate, which was his first ever MVP when he started draft leagues, and it really shows. He used it pretty well this week, and I also think like even though it wasn't a win with such a big margin over Shadow, it was a very comfortable win. It didn't seem like Shadow had any chance, and Jelmer lured the Sandslash really well with the Scarf Thunderous, uh, basically getting rid of the Alolan Sandslash, which was the biggest threat that game versus him really early on. So it was really nice to see, and I definitely expect a boost from him in the upcoming weeks. Not next week though, because he faces me, so he can't win that. But after that, he can go. He can go wild on everyone.
I
And
don't know.
number
I
10,
feel
you
like that
have
might be a forfeit kind of situation there, but we'll have to see.
probably
We'll have to
it
see.
probably will be a forfeit. It probably will.
Yeah. So at number 10, I have Milan. He did
The
unfortunately
forfeit
get
kill.
he did unfortunately get a 0-0 forfeit loss this week. In a game that I'm not sure if you guys will end up seeing the game or not. But the game ended up going for like 80 turns before forfeit occurred because of some really major internet issues. And in my opinion, at the stage of the game it was, I felt like Milan probably had a better shot to win it than TCP did. Unfortunately, that's not how it ended up working out. So I've got to judge based on what did happen. I felt like 10 was a fair spot. Even though one of your wins is a forfeit win, your other win is definitely more impressive than the people below you. So that's probably the main reason why I did decide to put you onto the second page at the very least, even though you are only 2-2 right now. So is everyone else. So hopefully
Yeah,
your internet will
so is
clear up,
everyone.
and hopefully we'll see less forfeit games in the future. But
Really hope so as well.
yeah, otherwise you're batting a 50% average right now, so that's kind of sus. But anyway, number
Hmm.
9, we both have Brett picking up the tail end victory off of Susie's massive hilarity. I I don't want to say that he didn't deserve to win that game, and wouldn't have won if Susie didn't choke, because at the same time he also got Hack's early game. So I didn't want to put him too low or anything. Um, but I did want to put him a little bit low because this is the third time in a row that he hasn't brought Toxic or Poison Heal Gliscor on his Gliscor. It's mind-boggling to me. Why do you keep on bringing this Yachi Berry Gliscor trash? It's so weird to me. Please bring a good Gliscor set for the love of God. If you do that, if you do, I anticipate that you'll start to win more games. You'll improve from 2-2 to nice 3-2 next week potentially. Just bring the good set, man, and then you'll move up in the power rankings. I can guarantee that.
Whoa, that's a lot of faith in Poison Hue Gliscor. But yeah, it honestly is the best set for Gliscor, so you definitely should give it a go, like at least once, in my opinion. But yeah, this week you face off versus Susie. It was a really, yeah, it was just a really weird game. You did get really unfortunate with the Mega Emperors. I'll give you that. It definitely set you back so much in the game. Basically, that Susie's hyper offensive team could take advantage of you like really easily. But then, like, as easy as it got advantage, it also as easily gave it away and basically threw everything to Jirachi. So, like, good on that you brought a better Jirachi set this week. Last week it was a bit questionable. This week it was a lot more effective, I feel like, and that was really nice. So overall, you're not doing too bad. You're not doing too great. So try to come up with better strats, better win cons, and I'm sure you will improve. I'm sure you will improve actually. So like, good on you. At number 8, we have an agreement again, which starts to get pretty scary. We have the St. Louis Swablues picking up a nice victory once again. He did pick up a victory versus Blake this week. Cortana did actually do something this week, so like that was also very surprising to see. But Malone is smelling victory. Malone is on a 2-game win streak as of right now, and I really hope he will keep that win streak alive for the longest time he can. Um, Even though you didn't play an opponent who showed the best of prep and the best of interest in the game, it's still a victory. So I can't fault you for that. But it wasn't really impressive either, in my opinion. So the 8th spot is where you'll be.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. His win last week though was over the very impressive Hutch, so I do think he does have that quality wins behind him, and the fact that he is on a 2-win streak is definitely nice to see. He does have that momentum going forward, and we'll see if he's able to keep it up. However, this is very typical Malone. He is one of the more inconsistent players, capable of pulling out some very good performances several weeks in a row before just suddenly completely barreling out. So hopefully he'll be able to keep this streak going for a while. I'm not super hopeful, which is why I do have him at number 8 rather than any of the number 5 spots higher. But yeah, if he can keep this up, then I'll be very excited to see it. So yeah, keep that up. Number 7, we both have Shadow, who lost this week, unfortunately, but it was to Vish, which is a historically good coach, even though he hasn't been showing it much this season. I don't think he played necessarily too badly in the game anyway. He played like he just kind of got out prepped by stuff like the Scarf Thunderous, etc. And matchup wise, didn't really look that great. He didn't really have much momentum at any point in the game. But I do feel like his record is quite impressive, warranting the number 7 spot.
Yeah, I can somewhat agree with that as well. Which was really funny to me to see this week is that Shadow from winning versus the number 1 coach last week, now losing to the number 14 coach this week. Like it really shows how inconsistent Shadow most of the time is. Uh, Even though he didn't play a really bad game at all, I think he just brought the wrong offensive mons. But let's be honest, Shadow has a really offensive team which is really hard to prep for because basically anything can do work and like it's really hard for Shadow to pick the right 6 each week, I feel like. But overall, after last week's performance and then when you compare that to this week's performance, it just shows you're not just there yet in the playoffs teams. I think you're pretty close though. You're doing very well, so keep doing what you do, and I'm sure you're grabbing another victories sooner or later. But for now, you're at the 7th spot, and then at the 6th spot, we have an agreement again, which like 3 in a row. I don't know. Is it something special, Ian?
It's 4
Is
in a
it?
row, even.
It's 4 in a row. Is it? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I
Well,
know. Like,
that makes it even scarier. But oh well. We both have the we both have the Houston Hoopas. And what is funny to me is that even though AZ lost 5-0 this week, he did move up. I finally decided to, yeah, really weird. I don't know how it goes. It was just really hard to place everyone. But even though he did lose 5-0, he did lose versus a very strong coach. And I finally start to see AZ putting in a lot of effort in prep and play wise. I really think he did put up a good fight. Um, I also think that some things Hodge brought were questionable, and you anticipated on different stuff. I think like no not having Mega Medicham, like if you brought Mega Medicham, I think you would have done way better this game. And also the Tyrantrum prediction to predict Steelix to come in with the Z Groundium Z was really nice. I definitely recognize your skills and team build this week, and that's why you're at the 6th spot to me. Why do you have him at number 6?
yeah, for me, he actually moved down after losing this week. I had him at number 5 before. That just goes to show how much you underrated him, I feel. Yeah, he definitely did put up a fight. He did also get completely bopped, unfortunately. I did give Hutch a mock where I beat him 6-0, so I'm not going to say that it's because I mocked him that he won the game, but because I mocked him, he did win the game in the end, so there is that. Um, like you said, the Mega Medicham would have been a great bring there. I think his prep was definitely a step in the right direction, even though it was kind of worse. It definitely did show a lot more thought in it. So good stuff on that. Hutch is, of course, a very strong opponent, so it's not like it's completely surprising that you did lose the game. It was definitely a very solid game to watch, and you just didn't really have enough for Reflect type Latias. It's an understandable thing. It's not the thing that you necessarily think of first in prep. So hopefully next week you'll be able to pull something out. I still have faith. So I'm going to keep you at number 6. Number 5, I do have Hutch there. He did win against AZ in a nice fashion, so that's why I decided to move him above AZ. Really solid prep with the Reflect type Latias, and he showed a really good understanding of how to use it. Being prepared to also Reflect type on the Toxapex and the Ferrothorn to make sure that he walled everything effectively. Sorry, Milan, you've got a little bit of feedback there. Might want to check that.
On Hutch game? On
No,
Hutch
you've got
game
like
or
mic
should I just
feedback.
go?
You've got some mic feedback. Sorry. Sorry, viewers.
Oh,
Hutch is,
my bad.
if you heard that, they might have not even heard it honestly, but it was starting to bug me a little bit. But yeah, Hutch prepped it very well. Played it very well. I know he was struggling in prep side of it. He felt confident in his prep, but then kind of started to struggle a little bit. But then he clearly got his confidence back, started to use the Latias really well, and it resulted in a really solid win. So good job to Hutch. Starting to get his season back on track after those transactions.
Yeah, for sure. At number 5, I do have the Slow Bohemians, and yeah, what a battle this was. TJ faced off versus Dave, and yeah, it really is surprising to see a champion to get 6-0 like that easily, that dirty. But yeah, it did happen. It also happened to me, TJ. So like, Zygarde is just a fucking bitch. Don't even worry about it, man. It's just what Zygarde does. Like, if you bring the correct set to a team, yeah, it just sweeps you. Um, anyway, I think your prep this week wasn't as solid again, like as last week. It also wasn't the best of the best, and it really starts to worry me. Actually, like, I don't know what is happening in your front office or in your head, but like, I feel like you definitely should do more mocks. I guess I think that's what your bread and butter. And when you do more mocks and prep a bit better, then you'll definitely have no issues at all. But like, a 6-0, I can't deny that. Like, TJ, of course you're dropping a little bit, but don't don't take it too hard, man. Don't take it too hard. I've been there too. Fuck Zygarde. So, at number 4, you have TJ. Go.
Yeah, I decided to come in a little bit more slack. Yes, it's a 6-0, but it's a 6-0 that basically happened because of, like, one minor slip up in prep. Like, he predicted a 180 health Zygarde or something like that, and it ended up being Max Spadef Zygarde, so he didn't bring the right Suicune set for the set that came. He should have brought a set that covered the Max Spadef Zygarde as well. But it's such a minor thing that's like so niche that just happened to be the situation that happened. I just don't feel like I can really berate him too much for it. It is TJ. He's usually the one that you expect to catch up on those things and not let that happen. But one time he does let it happen. I'm sure he'll be able to bounce back in the later weeks. He is pretty consistent. He does fight me this week, so he's got a pretty hard back-to-back schedule there. But he definitely has the potential there. So I'm going to keep him at the number 4 spot until something changes.
Yeah, and at number 4, I actually have Hutch with the Portland Thunder. Even though I didn't really agree with his prep this week, he still managed to hold on his win con really well. Latios was super important this match, and he played it really well, which ended up giving him a victory, a very convincing victory as well, 5-0 win, which was really nice. I do think that because of AZ's anticipation on different setup of your team composition, you definitely get fortunate in that sense. But even though you lost versus Malone last week, you definitely put your stuff together and picked up a very, very nice, convincing win versus a strong coach as well. So you're very deserving of the 4th spot, in my opinion. And number 3, we have a disagreement, as we like it. You have Chicago Conqueror with Big Daddy Dave. Please tell us why.
Well, the Max Spadef Zygarde was definitely a great bring that was able to get him a really, really solid win over TJ. So I definitely feel like he is. Well, actually, no, he's the only 2. He's 3-1, isn't he? Yeah, never mind. Sorry, he's probably still on the weaker end of the 3-1. It was very, very close between him and me, but I decided that I would give myself the slight advantage for a few reasons. The main reason being I had slightly higher differential, and I do beat him in the head-to-head. But other than that, he's played really well to get to a 3-1 record after a loss first week. He shows no signs of slowing down, so that's great to see, and I'm sure he'll be able to pull out some wins later.
Yeah, for sure. At number 3, I have TCP and Heart for Whalmers, which is, it might be a bit surprising to some of you, or TCP even himself, but after the game that did happen, sort of. I did talk to TCP, and he really recognized as well that a lot of his wins, even though he is like the only undefeated team at this point, haven't been as clear and nice. He basically he still told me this is the shady season of TCP, which I kind of agree. It's like it's not his fault that the things happened the way it did, but like it did happen, and you were part of a forfeit, even though we agree. I think forfeits are just really lame overall. That's why I put myself at the lowest spot. That because a forfeit is not acceptable, and you were the only undefeated team, so I didn't want to put you really low, but I didn't want you to put in the top two because of all the shady matches and the forfeit this week. So I hope you understand. I think you will understand. And if you just turn up next week like you always have been doing, you'll definitely be the number one again, I'm sure. So at number two, I actually have a Chicago Dave, Chicago Conquerors with Big Daddy Dave. I'm a Big Daddy fan, like you guys know, like Daddy knows. He did pull out a very impressive 6-0 win versus the champion of last season. The Zygarde set was like spot on this week. Really, really nice. Super consistent once again. Very convincing victory. And yeah, Dave is doing really. Dave is the hot coach of the week, in my opinion. He is doing really, really well. But yeah, that's me. And you have at the number two spot the OC Kangaskans yourself. Please tell us.
Yeah, basically, very similar to you. I've got Dave and myself really, really close. Dave is the hot shit this week for sure with his 6-0 win, but it is comparable to my 6-0 win versus Vish. We've basically got the same accolades this season. So far, at the very least, we'll have to see how the season plays out, though, to really get down to the nitty gritty of it. I was able to win this week. It was only against an 0-4 team, though, so not as impressive as Dave's win this week. But overall, our wins and losses are fairly similar. So yeah, it was very teensy little slight difference that really made the difference there. But I'd like to see your reasoning for placing me above him as well.
Well, I'm just gonna use your reasoning from last week. You are just a bit more handsome, talented, and overall just. I just basically put yourself a bit higher because you did have the win over Dave. Like when you two faced off, you did end up winning. Also, your differential was a bit higher, so I thought it was only fair to put you at the first spot. Once again, a better Kobalian nickname as well. So like I can't scold you too much. And you have the TCP. You do have him at place one. Please tell us why.
I'm definitely a stickler for the actual numbers that it says next to your name there. And the numbers that it says next to TCP's name right now is win column 4, loss column 0. I don't have to agree with the actual result of the game and how it played out. I personally was not a fan of the fact that it did end up being forfeit win for him, but obviously there was very, very little else that could have been done about it. Recreation would have been incredibly painful, but in the end it was a win for him, so that 4-0 record is better than a 3-1 record. So therefore that's going to be enough in my book to place him at the number 1 spot.
Yeah, that is really fair of you.
So I think that probably wraps it up for this week, unless you've got anything else to
add. Yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. PM us if you don't agree. We'll be explaining further on, like why we put our rankings. But overall, it was just really hard ranking you guys because you're all so damn close. Like you have pretty similar records, pretty similar differential as well. So like it would be nice if like the bottom half starts losing more and the upper half starts winning more. But it wouldn't be the ASL if it was just a league where everything can happen each week. So I'm very looking forward to the next week battles, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye, guys.
See ya.